Hey, it's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with the Coach. Today we have a question from Morok333 who says, I've been thinking lately about becoming a boxing coach in the future. So I would like to know, in your opinion, what are the most important things a coach should know or be prepared for? Okay? A coach should know the subject that they are coaching. They should be well versed in the sport that they are coaching. They should have good communication skills. They should be a good strategist. Obviously, they should be a good coach. Now, getting that out of the way, the other things that you should be prepared for that you're probably not thinking about. People will challenge you. People will challenge you constantly. And if you do not have their respect, you won't be able to coach them. You also have to be prepared to make a living. If you are hoping to make a living off of coaching, you might be sorely disappointed. If you're hoping to make a living off of great fighters, off of famous fighters who bring in revenue to you and your gym, then it's time to pursue a different career. Now, I do not say that because I'm casting doubt on the possibility of whether or not you will coach a famous fighter or a fighter with a lucrative career. I'm saying that because this is something you do for the love of the sport. My advice to all coaches and also athletes is have other sources of revenue. And that's good advice for anybody regardless of what they do. Have multiple streams of revenue. For example, if you are somebody who does YouTube for a living, and that's all you do is YouTube for a living, and you're relying on YouTube ad revenue as your only source of income, then there are a lot of ways you can get screwed over in that situation and lose your only source of income. A lot of people ask me, what do you do for a living? And the simple answer is, I'm a coach. I coach combat sports athletes. But as you can see right here, I also make YouTube videos about my main job, the job that I have the most vested interest in, being a combat sports coach for combat sports athletes. And that produces revenue. Is that the only one? No, man, no. You got to branch out and get your fingers in as many sources as you can. Why? So that you can do what you love. Because often, what you love to do is not going to pay the bills the way you want it to. And if you're relying on famous fighters to pay your bills and keep the lights on and so on, you're going to have a bad relationship with your fighters. As a coach, people are going to challenge you. Sometimes they will come into the gym and throw down that gauntlet and want to spar with you or fight you or expose you. Sometimes your own students or athletes will want to do the same. And periodically it'll happen. And you might be one of those coaches who has no intention of sparring and getting on the mat. That's kind of the exception and not the norm in many gyms. I spar with my athletes, I get on the mat with them, I give them hands-on instruction. Not everybody does, not everybody can. What else might you expect from being a coach? The important things a coach should know, the important things a coach should be prepared for. make good use of your time. If you are not good at scheduling your time, you're going to have some serious problems with coaching. Also, try not to be disappointed if you're spending a lot of time doing group classes, training casuals, and not just the pro fighters. I mean, that's exciting. That's what it's all about, right? You think that's what it's all about, but those casuals coming in, those gym rats coming in, those hobbyists coming in, those are the guys often keeping the lights on in your gym. And if you don't show them the love that you have for that sport, if you don't share that with them, because that's why they're there, they won't stay there for very long. I've seen this from time to time. Would-be coaches who thought the world owed them something, who thought the world owed them a world-class fighter, a contender that they could, you know, do a remake of Rocky and Mickey in the corner. Like, yeah, go get him, Rock. And it didn't work out that way, and instead they just have a bunch of very enthusiastic, very willing paying customers who want to take some group classes and do some boxing once in a while, do some MMA once in a while, do some kickboxing casually. And these coaches turn their nose up at it because it didn't meet their expectation. Or they might be asked to teach some kids classes, and they might think, that's not my jam. Who do I look like, a babysitter? Expect to put in the work. Coaching isn't just something that you're given. Like, oh, here you go. Now you're a coach. You got your coaching diploma. No, man. You got to work for it. You got to earn it. It's just as much work as learning how to fight. And that's a lot of work. It takes years of efforts and experiences and competitions to learn how to fight. The same with coaching. It is a learning process. You're not going to be a good coach when you start. You might think you're a good coach when you start, but you're going to be a terrible one. You're going to be a terrible coach for a while, maybe even a long time. And people might sing your praises. They might say, Coach, you're the best. I love you, because you have a good relationship with them. But you're going to get a lot wrong. So, when people do challenge you, whether an actual physical challenge like a fight, or just words like people on the internet saying, you're a bum, ask yourself, well, how much of that is true? And how do I need to change? Some of the most powerful, magical, beautiful words a man can ever say in his life are these: I was wrong. Words we don't hear often enough in this day and age, from the people who need to say them the most and learn from them the most. Because when we are able to say, I was wrong, that's where we start to progress. Another one of those magic phrases that all coaches should know and embrace and use and employ. I don't know. But let's find out. That is the beginning of knowledge. That's learning how to learn how to learn. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.